Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. So today I'm talking about the main event of UFC Fight Night Sandhagen vs Dillashaw, which went down over the weekend at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas. This fight was the return of TJ Dillashaw after serving a 2-year suspension for taking EPO. Now, from what I understand about EPO, it is produced naturally in the body from your kidneys, but you can also take it through injections, and it helps produce more red blood cells, which carry oxygen, which allows you to have better cardio. Since there's more oxygen circulating in your blood, thus giving you a better athletic performance. What was so damning about TJ Dillashaw getting caught with EPO is EPO cannot get in your system accidentally. What do I mean? In MMA, we have seen countless times where a guy fails a drug test and he says he accidentally took something. John Jones, for example, got caught with Turinabol in his system and he said it was from tainted sex pills. Other guys have gotten caught with other substances such as Jostanolone and they said that it was from tainted supplements. The thing about this excuse from John Jones and these other guys is it is possible that they tested positive for some anabolic steroid by accidentally taking some supplement or pill or whatever they say they ingested. Personally, I don't believe them, but the possibility is there, especially when you consider companies like GNC have all kinds of supplements that might be allowed by USADA, but those quote clean supplements are often made in the same factories where they make other supplements containing banned substances, so cross-contamination is possible. With EPO, it can only be taken from injection. If you took it orally, it would get digested and it wouldn't enhance your performance. So the tainted supplement excuse, the tainted Viagra excuse, they're completely out the window. As a fan, I was obviously disappointed because he is one of my favorite fighters to watch, and I know that people are going to dismiss everything he's accomplished and chalk it all up to EPO. And yes, he brought it on himself, but the fact of the matter is EPO does not create a talent like TJ Dillashaw. But I do understand people being so upset because, truth be told, it is unfair, especially to the guy who was clean and ends up losing the fight and getting half of his pay. But that's the past. Dillashaw served his suspension, and I'm pretty sure he's clean now because no way in hell he'd jeopardize his return with more PEDs, especially now that he's popped for EPO. You already know USADA is going to be all over him. But enough meandering, let's get to the fight. TJ Dillashaw beats Corey Sandhagen via split decision 48-47, 48-47, and 47-48 on the judges' scorecards, and it seemed to me that many people had Corey Sandhagen winning the fight. Like on Twitter, many of the other fighters all seemed to think Sandhagen took it. Also, it seems like more fans felt it should have gone to Sandhagen, but I haven't seen people calling it a robbery, which kinda is surprising considering how MMA fans often throw that word out when a fight is close. Part of me wonders how much of it is people genuinely feeling like Sandhagen won, and how many people are leaning to Sandhagen because they're still upset over what TJ did in the past. Also, how many people might have been swayed in their minds subconsciously because of Daniel Cormier's biased commentary. I myself have felt a certain guy was winning a fight because of biased commentary, so I know it happens. Daniel Cormier was highlighting everything Sandhagen did, and often he was ignoring what TJ was doing. And if you're watching a fight and the commentator keeps commenting on one guy, and then that guy will be the one you're giving your attention to, and since you're focused on him, you're going to be noticing everything he does, and when it comes time for the decision, you'll lean towards him for the victory. And in the 5th round, it was TJ who came out aggressively and was backing Sandhagen up, and then Sandhagen lands a couple of punches at like 57 seconds of the 5th round, and Cormier says something like, Sandhagen came out strong in this round. And I'm thinking like, dude, no he didn't. That's just not what was happening so far in that round. But respect to Dominic Cruz, who was on the commentary desk, because he was being very fair in his commentary, talking about what both guys were doing. And I like the fact that his personal rivalry with TJ had no reflection on his commentary. He's an absolute professional. So rounds 1 and 3 I gave to TJ, round 2 I gave to Sandhagen. Rounds 4 and 5 were closer, but I gave 4 to Sandhagen and 5 to TJ. So personally, I had it 48-47 for TJ, but if the judges scored it for Sandhagen, I wouldn't object because the fight was just that close. And it was a good fight. I was impressed with both of them. With Sandhagen, I really like how he uses his length and he throws strikes from the outside, and he's accurate with his punches while backing up. And in the 4th round, he threw a spinning back fist that wobbled TJ at the end of the round, and I think that's kind of what made me give him the round. But he did all of this while he was backing up, and TJ impressed me in a number of ways. First of all, to take on Sandhagen after 2.5 years is crazy. Like, that is such a tough matchup, especially for a return fight. But the fact that he stepped up and perform like that proves that he's trying to get back in there and trying to get his belt ASAP. And of course, it's not easy fighting a guy so much taller than you. Sandhagen is 5'11" at 135 pounds. TJ is 5'6", and it can't be easy to get inside that kind of range. Also, TJ hurt his knee in the first round, so he wasn't moving nearly as much as he usually would do, but he was still able to do everything he accomplished in that fight. When I was watching it and seeing how little footwork TJ was using in comparison to what I'm used to seeing from him, I thought that was just the ring rush showing. Turns out his knee got injured from a submission Sandhagen attempted in the first round. So I'm thinking if he had full mobility of both knees, then the decision would have been a lot more clear in TJ's favor. Stylistically, I would have favored TJ anyway in this fight because I think his style works well against any striker at 135, but that's obviously if he's able to use his footwork the way he normally does. I predict in 2022, TJ will be the champion again. I believe later this year, Aljamain Sterling and Peter Yan are going to run it back because it was a terrible end to that fight. Peter Yan got disqualified because he threw an illegal knee and Sterling couldn't continue, so he won the belt by default. So you definitely got to run that back. What I didn't like in the aftermath of that fight was people were angry at Aljamain Sterling because of how he won the belt, but it wasn't his fault at all. Peter Yan was winning the fight and he decided to throw an illegal knee, which cost him his belt. So if there's anyone to be upset at over the outcome of that fight, it's Peter Yan. I'm not mad at Peter Yan. I just think it was so dumb because it was an intentional illegal strike. It's not like he had him against the cage and Aljamain was bent over with one hand on the mat. Illegal strikes are thrown in that situation, and it's very understandable because you can't see what your opponent is doing from the angle you're at. But Aljamain was clearly down in the middle of the octagon, so I don't know what Yan was thinking in that moment, but it is what it is. I'm not mad at either one of them because the rematch just got more interesting. But given how the first fight between them went down, unless Aljamain somehow makes drastic changes to his game, I predict that Yan will win the rematch and reclaim the belt. And in 2022, as I said, TJ Dillashaw will fight Peter Yan and he will win the belt back. That's how I see this playing out, but MMA is such an unpredictable sport, you never know. Anyway guys, that's all I had to say about that. If you have made it this far into the video, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.